everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League's GR3EVO Cup for race 7 at the Lake Maggiore West 2 circuit. So let's take a look at the current championship standings. Demon R leading the way on 107 points, bit of a gap to SGP who's on 88, and close behind is Mandalorian and Steve F1 on 82 points. Fluffy Planet is in 5th on 59, closely followed by Jason on 55, David Harp on 54, then we've got Groover on 42, formerly Gary on 39, Silver Shadow on 35, and only a point behind him is Bunsel. We then got Rich Blues on 33, SRI on 22, Tyler on 11, Conreese on 7, and Lewis still on 0. Okay, the starting grid order for today's race is Lewis sitting on pole position, Tyler joining him on the front row. SRI and Silver Shadow are on row 2, with formerly Gary and Groover on row 3. Dave the Harp and Jason are on row 4, and on row 5 it's Fluffy Planet and Steve F1. Mandalorian and SGP are on row 6, and on row 7, all on his lonesome, is the current championship standings leader Demon R. Just a reminder, the grid is set by reverse championship standings order. Rich Blues and Bunsel are unable to race today, which is a massive shame for them, but it does mean they might start further up in the next race at the start. But before we get on to the action here, there's a quick reminder from the DGT League admins. Here we go then, it's time for Lake Maggiore West 2, and joining me on commentary is...
It's James!
Bloody
I'm back!
Where's he been?
I told you I'd be back.
The time has come then for the GR3EVO Cup at Lake Maggiore West 2, and here we go, the light's about to go out. Lewis on pole position, and it looks like he's had a little bit too much wheel spin off the start, and Tyler's going to jump him straight away.
Yeah, indeed, and Gary got a decent start there, but he had nowhere to go with it.
No, he did. Demon R going from the back of the grid, going all the way around the outside by the looks of things, but I think he's just been nudged off the track and following Dave the Harp's tyre tracks through the grass. It's not the fastest way, but it's a way he's tried.
Yeah, unfortunately I think that's the danger zone going on the outside of turn 1, on lap 1 indeed. It can get very, very tight down there, and Lewis he's trying to get very tight up behind Tyler at this moment in time.
That he is. Lewis has had a bit of a one-to-one with Demon R before this race, and we'll see if it benefits him at all. He's running a little bit wide through the lovely cambered hairpin though, but gets a good exit out of the corner. This is a circuit which is lovely to drive for most of it. Fast, sweeping, but a few tricky corners. Lewis though having a look up the inside into the fast left-right. It's going to compromise his entry here, James.
Yeah, what about Tyler? Is he going to go
Tyler over the curb and into the barrier. I think he caught Lewis there as well, and Silver Shadow had nowhere to go and gives Lewis a good punting, and I think Steve F1 has just spun in sympathy.
Oh, Jason as well, he's just spun in the background, and that's just impacted on Groover, so yeah, that's not looking good for them. But yeah, how on earth is Tyler still in the lead of the race? That was very dangerous indeed. Just did not want to give up on the throttle and just punted it on the grass.
Yeah, the thing is, once you get on that curb as well at the wrong angle, there's only one place you're going. But that has benefited Silver Shadow. He's got a decent run on Tyler here at the Lake Maggiore, or Lago Maggiore West 2 circuit for race 7 of the GR3EVO Cup. Only 2 more races after this one, so points are crucial here today. And let's have a look at the championship sort of contenders really. SGP, Demon R, Mandalorian, Steve F1. SGP leading the pack at the moment, but SRI got a decent run on Silver Shadow.
Yeah, he's got him out of position. Silver Shadow's on the racing line though. He's left the door wide open, and SRI is taking no chances and just straight away shoving it in there. And yeah, here comes Dave the Arp and SGP side by side.
Yeah, so we saw Lewis and Tyler try and go side by side through the fast left-hander. Is SGP and Dave the Arp going to show how it's done? SGP backs out of it. That's one way to do it. He can't help get a better exit out of the corner, but in the background we're going kind of 3 wide, 4 wide, and I think Demon R is off the track again. Is he? No, it's someone else. It's Jason, sorry. Dave the Harp though trying to attack Silver Shadow, can't quite get it done, and now we're into the tricky section of the circuit, James. An awkward left-hand hairpin into a right-hand hairpin.
Indeed, and think Mandalorian, he's just, I think he's heading for the pit lane already, so yeah, very early stop. He tried it in Monza, it worked. He tried it last week, and, oh no, he didn't try it last week because he wasn't here. The week before that he tried it, and it really did not work, but here we go, SGP on the back of Dave the Arp. I think there's going to be some touching cloth going on with Dave the Arp there.
Quite possibly. Demon R is right behind SGP as well as Dave the Arp runs a little bit wide. That gives SGP the inside of the corner, but now they're heading towards another one of the fast left-right corners here, but not absolutely flat out in these cars. If you go flat out into the first one, you run wide, and then you run wide on the exit of the right-hander. Demon R now pressuring the back of Dave the Harp. Dave the Harp going defensive. Demon R taking the outer line, but looking for a switch back by the looks of things, James. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, getting on the throttle early there, managed to open the corner up, and yeah, they were pretty much both on the throttle at the same time, but that's just given Demon R the opportunity to have a look up the inside, and Dave the Arp once again showing how it's done 2 to tango, and he backs out of it.
Yep, SGP having a look at SRI as well. He's all over the back of him, but hasn't got through.
Somebody's just gone off. Somebody's just gone flying, sorry, I think it might have been Lewis.
Possibly Lewis sitting in 7th at the moment. Demon R running a little bit wide in the penultimate corner. Dave the Arp going around the outside of him. What a move by Dave the Arp, and here comes Steve F1. That's a brilliant bit of driving from those three, although Demon R, yeah, not so great from him on that occasion.
Yeah, but I think that just showed you earlier on in the lap, Dave the Arp backed out of it because he knew that 2 into 1 did not go, and just saved a little bit of energy to get back past him. But here we go, SRI, SGP. It's a recipe for disaster.
That it is. That it is. Although Ray is a paramedic, so I'm sure he'll cope. Oh, Steve F1 getting side by side with Dave the Arp, but Dave the Arp's round wide off into the grass. He'll have to hope he doesn't hit the wall. SRI still holding SGP up here, although that's the wrong word. He's holding him behind him. He's not holding him up, he's defending him. SGP having a look to go round the outside into the hairpin, but we're having a look at Demon R though, because he's taking a different line, and he's caught the 3 of them up. He's not going to pass 3 cars on the exit 1 corner, is he, James? 3 wide here.
Yeah, they're too busy fighting each other, and they've just not spotted Demon R showing up. I think that maybe next year Demon R might need a brighter livery for them to see him.
Yeah, quite possibly. Oh, someone got a little bit wiggly there through the fast corners. SGP covering the inside, so Steve F1 can't take it. Jason being pushed out a little wide there, but Demon R has made the move. SGP still fighting, so SGP and SRI were battling it out, and Demon R sort of come along and said, that's fine guys, you do that, I'm just going to carry on if you don't mind. Up to Demon R to try and catch Tyler. Look at the gap he's opened up already.
Yeah, here comes Jason though, having a little look up the inside in towards turn 1, under braking. SRI brakes late, but that might put him out of position on the exit.
Oh, Steve F1 having a look, but Jason sort of closing the door on that one. SRI and Jason side by side. SRI is going to have the inside line for the left-hander, but he's going to have to make sure he doesn't run wide, as Jason does run a little wide, and Lewis runs even wider, but here comes Steve F1 trying to squeeze through the middle, and Mandalorian there as well, so after his early pit stop, he's managed to catch back up to the pack and get up to 5th place already. Yeah,
but right now he's behind his nemesis Jason, and yeah, he needs to concentrate really, because he's gone straight into the wall. What a muppet. He'll be kicking himself.
He won't, I think he's dead. Demon R is all over the back of Tyler now, so wasting no time whatsoever, going side by side into the fast left-hander. Tyler should know now what's going to happen if he goes flat out around the outside. Yeah, realises, backs off a little bit, compromises the entry to benefit on the exit. SGP got a little bit of a gap to Jason as well, so Mandalorian's crash there has kind of freed up SGP a little bit.
Yeah, I think that were the worst thing he needed really for his strategy. He would have been probably around 4th place, but right now he's down the order. He's really down the order.
Here's Steve F1 ran wide in the third to last corner. Dave Hart going for the pit lane. Steve F1 going for the pit lane. It's early pit stops for them as well. Only 7 minutes into this race. Usual tyres available. The Racing Super Soft and the Racing Soft. The Super Softs are the better tyre around here though. As SGP trying to apply pressure to Tyler. I'm thinking Tyler's tyres have gone off, you know, because at the last race at Brands Hatch, he had a very good start to the race, but after about 6-7 minutes his tyres were going off. So I think he could do with just holding his position, looking after the tyres a little bit and try and get to at least a 10-minute mark.
Yeah, we've got Mandalorian harassing Fluffy, and let's hope that he don't get too flustered, Fluffy, there.
Well, Fluffy's definitely been improving on his driving recently. He's kind of semi-defending while semi-looking for the attack, but realises that there's not a lot he can do about that. It's a lovely move from Mandalorian, but Fluffy Planet's going to have the slipstream. Let's see if Mandalorian carried the speed out of the hairpin to at least stay alongside. No, there we go, Fluffy just ahead with that slipstream off SRI.
Yeah, I think Mandalorian there really wanted to go deep into the corner, but could not do that because SRI was in front, and if he went deep, he'd have T-bugged SRI there.
Yeah, that he would. Now, some of the viewers may recognise parts of this track. Oh, as Mandalorian's trying to sort of defend to Silver Shadow. Silver Shadow could have stuck his nose in there, but decided against it. Smartness, the better part of valour. I know that's not the same, but that's what came through my mind. So Silver Shadow now all on the back of Mandalorian. But yeah, for the viewers, you may recognise parts of this track, and that's because part of this track was used in the Toyota SFR Championship. So most of the drivers do know majority of the circuit, but this longer version, James, is it going to be more of a tyre killer or a race changer?
I think it's just these long corners they're going through right now, which were not on the shorter circuit, could kill the tyres a little bit, especially the front right, but it's not looking too bad at the moment, but Mandalorian still has not got past Fluffy, and if anything, he's coming under attack from Silver Shadow.
That he is, and I tell you what, Steve F1's catching up to the back of these guys. He pitted early on 7 minutes, which I know I said it's early, and one of the reasons for that is I've seen in practice at Brands Hatch he was able to do 20 minutes on the tyres, and here he was able to do nearly 20 minutes on the tyres as well. Jason, though, he's attacking Tyler now. Neither of these have pitted yet, so it is a fight for position. Lewis not too far behind them, so not doing too bad, sitting in 5th place at the moment. Not too far behind two guys that are still yet to pit.
Yeah, so here we go. Tyler, is he going to pit this lap? He's run deep there.
He has, just looking at Demonar crossing the start-finish line to start lap 8. Tyler's gone into the pit, so I thought Demonar's gone wide. He's gone wide at turn 1 into the barrier. Oh my days.
Yeah, it's very rare you see a mistake from Demonar, and that's a big one.
It is. It's massively cost. Okay, he's only lost the 1 position, but he's now got Jason all over the back of him, and SGP is what, 2 or 3 seconds down the road. I think he's lost about 7-8 seconds in that incident.
Yeah, so that just comes from a little lack of concentration and proof there that it can happen to the best of us.
He is human, he's not an alien. Although he might be asking for he might not asking. I'm going to arrange a new sponsorship deal for him, Dunkin' Donuts, because there's a donut doing that. Jason.
I thought you meant you were going to sign him in at Area 51 for being an alien.
For being an alien. I tell you what though, Lewis is hanging on to the back of Jason here, and you know what, that's not a shabby thing, because Jason, as we know, he has been getting his elbows out a little bit more this season, but he is a good driver. He's won a race this season already, his first one in DGT League, I believe, so yeah, he's Lewis is doing well to keep up with him, and to be fair, Demonar's only 1 car ahead. Yeah,
indeed, but I think right now Jason needs to try and get past Demonar, hope that he pits.
SGP going into the pits. So
Jason's in the pit.
Yeah, Jason going for the pits. Demonar not going for the pits though. So even though he had the off, which hurt his tyres, he's continued on, and Lewis has done exactly the same thing there. Why would he do that, James? Because surely the new tyres are going to be quicker.
I think because Mandalorian pitted on the lap before, and he's not far behind Silver Shadow. So actually, he's not far behind Tyler, so
Oh, big contact! Silver Shadow was side by side with Groover. I couldn't see exactly what happened there, but it's ended up with Silver Shadow into the barrier. It looks like Groover's waiting for him, so I don't know if Groover had a bit of a sideways moment or something and collected Silver Shadow, but yeah, both of those are now way down the order.
Yeah, so Mandalorian was nowhere, pitted a lap ago. SGP's just pitted, and he were in the lead of the race. He's come out behind Mandalorian, so I think the undercut is just massive here.
Well, Mandalorian's made his second pit stop then, so interesting, yeah. So SGP could get a massive undercut here or an overcut, so it's not an undercut, is it? It's pitted before the car's behind him, so he should open up the gap, but it depends on how the traffic is going to be ahead of him, because Tyler is on fresh tyres, so in a way, Tyler is net leader.
Oh, there's been a hit there. SGP just whacked into Mandalorian. I think that just whacked into Tyler, and that's Tyler off into the wall, but Mandalorian's not stopping, so I don't think it's his problem, but SGP looks to be.
Yeah, SGP was stopping. I think someone else had a spin at the final corner as well. Just to let you know, Lewis and Demon R have pitted from first and second place. So where are they going to come out? Let's see, we're on board with Jason at the moment, and there they are. Yes, it's going to be ninth place. Formula Gary is in 8th at the moment, although he's coming under pressure. No, it's not. It's Fluffy Planet passing Tyler, sorry. But yeah, Formula Gary is now there in another different livery, and Demon R is up alongside him. Bit of contact. Yeah, a bit feisty there, and here comes Lewis.
Yeah, indeed. So really, SGP and Demon R, I mean, Demon R's on the freshest tyres, but SGP, he really needed to pull away, and unfortunately with that bit of contact and him having to slow down, that's just ruined his strategy completely.
It has, because he's now behind him. Let's see what we've got here then. Formula Gary, I think he has already made a pit stop. Oh, he's got a bit sideways there as Demon R was having a look on the back of him. Lewis alongside Formula Gary now, and SRI right behind him. Mandalorian though all over the back of Dave the Harp. Steve F1 opening out a little bit of a gap up at the front. Oh, side by side.
Yeah, Mandalorian shoved it up the inside, saying pretty much, if you turn in, we're going off, mate. So luckily Dave the Harp spotted that. I think if anything, somebody needs to stop Steve F1 because we know he can go long.
Yeah. I would say that's what his missus says, but he hasn't got one. Sorry, Steve. So let's see. Jason then currently sitting in 4th place. He's already made a pit stop. Dave the Harp has. So Jason and SGP. So actually, sorry, SGP is ahead of Demon. Oh, I wasn't looking then. What happened?
Jason ran wide, and that just allowed SGP to get very close, and SGP almost ran into Jason trying to come back onto the circuit, and Fluffy Planet, he's really getting his elbows out here today.
That he is. You know what, James? We've mentioned a few times over the course of this. Oh, Silver Shadow into the barrier. No, sorry, Tyler he was into the barrier. Oh, and he just misses the wall there. Yeah, over the course of the last couple of championships, and even this championship, mentioned a few times about Demon R helping out a few drivers, the likes of Fluffy Planet, Formula Gary, and a few others. What do you think is going through Demon R's mind as the likes of Fluffy Planet is now making it ever so difficult for Demon R to get past?
Well, is it? Because I've heard that he's been slipping them £5 notes saying just let me through, but I don't think Fluffy got the memo.
It's euros, mate.
But yeah, here we go, Dave the Harp, he's coming under pressure from SGP as Fluffy. He's just dealing with the pressure right now from Demon R. Yeah.
SGP, so he's made the move on Dave the Harp, managed to slip through, and that's because Dave the Harp's going for the pit lane, so Jason there as well. But yeah, I mean, Demon R has helped out quite a few of the drivers, but to be honest, having spoken to him, he likes the fact that the people he's helped are making it difficult for himself, because it shows that the help he's given has worked.
Yeah. But let's not give him too much of a big head.
No. That's what his missus said, but he hasn't got one either.
Oh, Fluffy's run wide. Oh no, it's not the opportunity. He's covered it off. He's played it smart there, but here we go. I think the best opportunity might be into the head. No. Yeah, Demon R just shoving it in a gap where it didn't quite exist, but Fluffy give him the room, and that's nice to see. In the past, we might not have seen him giving the room. Demon R, he took it round the outside. No, he's going for a switchback, but we don't. Oh, he's tagged the back of him, and that's just absolutely destroyed any run he might have had.
Yeah.
And all the time he's spending behind Fluffy, he's just not getting in this fight for the win.
Yeah, formerly Gary closing in on him. It killed his momentum, and that's the risk of going for the switchback in a corner. If you tag the back of a car, it is going to kill your momentum. And look at this pack. Grouping together, always SRI and very close to the back of Tyler there, and Formula Gary sneaking past Fluffy Planet there as Fluffy realised that Demon R was up alongside him. This could get interesting on the exit of the corners, a 2x2, and they managed to survive. So Demon R has managed to get past eventually, but Formula Gary's made him work for it for a good 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, and Jason, to say that he ran off the circuit and SGP went back past him, he's really not letting SGP go now.
Yeah, that he isn't. So just ahead of them as well is Mandalorian sitting in second place as Jason trying to apply the pressure. But as I mentioned earlier on, Steve was opening up a gap and running away, but Mandalorian is starting to close that gap up. Demon R now in 5th place has got a bit of work to do to try and latch onto the back of Jason, but strategies could be very crucial here as we've still got 22 minutes of this race to go.
Yeah, indeed. Jason right now, he's looking okay. He's looking racy like SGP. Steve F1, if he can get another lap or 2 in the lead, then his strategy with one stop is really on the cards as Tyler's having a look now at Lewis.
That he is, but it's not for Steve F1 because he's already made a pit stop.
Oh, Dave the Art trying it round the outside. That's risky there.
Oh, he went up the inside as well of the corner, of the curb. But yeah, sometimes that can't be helped as Formula Gary going defensive on Lewis. Tyler on the back of Dave the Harp as well. This is where the drivers have to be oh so careful, because if you push it too hard and understeer, always SRI having a look up the side of Tyler, and I think he's just tagged him around. Demon R into the pits.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Tyler's race has just gone to shit.
I don't know that naughty word. Just to put a perspective on a couple of things. Steve F1, James, pitted after 7 minutes, so he's already done 1 stop already, but it looks like now he's trying to go long, so we went for an early undercut at the pit stops to now try and go a little bit long, because Demon R has already pitted once and he's just gone in the pits again, and Mandalorian is all over the back of Steve F1, whose tyres must be on their way out now. He's on to the 12th minute on those tyres.
So Demon R here, I think he's trying to do an undercut on the leaders. Are these guys going to be pitting at the end of this lap? I'm not too sure, but I think Mandalorian's close enough for a run here.
He definitely is. Oh, it almost looks like he's had the back of him, but side by side they're going to go though into the fast left-hander. I think Steve F1 will give that one up, yeah, because his tyres are just absolutely gone, but that's going to put Jason all over the back of him. I wouldn't be surprised if Steve F1 is into the pits at the end of this lap. I mean, look at how much Jason is all over the back of him. Steve F1 covering the inside, and you've got to make sure you keep it slowed down and tight on that corner to maximise the right-hander. Mandalorian's going for the pit lane with that tight exit of the final corner. Steve F1 doesn't stop.
I'm surprised there. Steve F1 were a sitting duck to Mandalorian, and if anything, I think Jason's going to have him at the end of this lap. So Steve F1, yeah, he might be taking the pain now, but I don't know if this is the right strategy. Could these two be throwing it away by going long, or could they be pulling a masterstroke and just pulling out that gap?
Well, I guess we'll find out if Jason can get past Steve F1. Just to let you know, Demon R, after other people have stopped, is now up to 6th place with SGP ahead of him. So Demon R, it will have to keep an eye on where he is when these two make their pit stops, but it's definitely looking like Jason has got the better conditioned tyres at the moment. Yeah,
indeed, he's going up the inside. SGP, oh no, he's not here. Steve F1. They're both called Steve, it's too easy. So yeah, Steve F1 there, he probably did the smartest thing, because really, if he can just sit behind Jason and just kind of following along in his boost, if he can stay within a second of him, he's laughing.
Yeah, I mean, he was bump drafting him down that previous straight, and yeah, so using the benefit of the speed on the straights with the slipstream and boost. Dave the Ark got a little bit wiggly there, but having a look up the inside of Lewis. Lewis gives him the room, may be able to have a little bit of a switchback, has a look, but tags the back of Dave the Ark. Dave the Ark goes defensive, he's going to run wide on the exit of that corner. Lewis now on his left-hand side, but I don't think he's going to be able to do a switchback, and now he's going to have to be careful of SGP.
Yeah, he can't go for the pit lane with his car there. As I think SGP is probably thinking that in his head. And I've just seen fireworks on the left-hand side of the screen. So you can see Demon Eye in P6 and Mandalorian in P7.
Ooh, that's interesting then. So, SGP making an early move on Dave the Harp. Lewis trying to follow him through. I think a little bit of contact between himself and Dave the Harp. And off they both go. There was not a lot in it, but it resulted in them both being off the track. And that could give Formula Gary an opportunity and Fluffy Planet.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Yeah, so here we go.
Yeah, indeed. Yes, Vicky is doing commentary.
As he's getting a bit distracted there, but yeah, Mandalorian trying to have a cheeky look up the inside there, and Demon Eye straight away spotted that in the mirrors. So
what do you reckon is going to happen in this remaining 18 minutes then, James?
Well, I think you've got your usual suspects sitting in 3rd, 4th and 5th, but we've got Steve F1 and Jason on completely different strategies, about 7 seconds up the road.
Groover, 3 wide through those corners, doesn't work, and it ended up with him on the grass. Sorry to cut you off there, James.
No, you're right there. But yeah, Demon Eye, I think he's just wanting to try and sit in SGP's slipstream, but he can't do that because he's just getting harassed.
And he's sideways, and that gives Mandalorian the opportunity to steal the slipstream, but SGP realises the Mandalorian had the better exit, gives Demon Eye the slipstream, so neither of them really gain on him. Side by side, these two go, then Demon Eye backs out of it though. Or does he? No, he's coming back on the exit of the corner as SGP nearly ran wide.
Yeah, so fighting back, and that's like what we like to see. A little bit of handbags at dawn, and Demon Eye back in 4th place.
Who's Dawn? Is that Steve F1's new missus?
No, Demon Eye's. But right. Anyway, here we go.
Demon Dawn.
Yeah. Up at the front, Jason is pulling away from Steve F1. Steve F1 is falling back into the clutches of SGP in 3rd place. But Demon Eye, he's just all over the SGP as well, so yeah, right now I think Jason's sitting pretty now.
I think I know what Steve F1's doing. If he can go, if he pits at the end of this lap, technically he can do one more stop and get to the end as Demon Eye is all over the back of SGP once again. So yeah, I think Steve F1's trying to get to the end with only one more pit stop. But look how quickly these guys are catching him up. But pretty much everybody in shot here is going to have to pit again as Mandalorian having a look up the inside into the penultimate corner. Demon Eye spots him, curses at him.
He's slid up the inside and he's got into 4th place. And yeah, Demon Eye, I don't think he'll be impressed with that. And I think he's slapping the back of Mandalorian's car because he wasn't impressed with that.
Well, he was impressed, he just didn't like it.
But yeah, as you say, Jason's pitted. Steve F1 had pitted, Jason's pitted.
Okay, so I still think Steve F1's going with that plan of one more pit stop, but hoping for an extra sort of freshness of tyre. But I think with Jason pitting before him, that's just going to put Jason so far ahead of Steve F1 when he pits, and SGP is now on the back of Steve F1.
Yeah, could this be the opportunity Mandalorian's looking for? Is SGP going to get caught here? No, SGP were like, you're not coming through here, Mandalorian. You can go on the grass, mate. And that's just allowed Demon Eye to have a nice run there, as Mandalorian's giving him a little bit of a slap.
They're just checking wing mirrors. Is that Fluffy Planet's in that battle as well, as Demon Eye and Fluffy Planet are now side by side? Or is that Mandalorian? It's Mandalorian and Fluffy Planet, but then they go single file. Groover misses the corner again.
Mandalorian up the inside of Demon Eye.
Can't
see what's going on.
He's definitely cursing at him now. Dave the Harp tags the back of Jason. Around Jason's going now into Formula Gary. A little bit of carnage into the final couple of corners. Steve F1 is there as well. That was Steve F1 side by side with Jason, and Steve F1 now into the pits, and someone else is stationary in the wall.
Yeah, Mandalorian's pitted. Jason's in P4, and he only pitted on the previous lap, so expect him to be flying past Fluffy Planet and Demon Eye pretty soon.
Yeah, I think SGP, Demon Eye and Fluffy Planet have all got one more pit stop to do, but it just goes to show how much time Steve F1 lost in that lap. He started the lap in first, and Jason was next to him when Steve F1 went for the pits.
Yeah, indeed. Demon Eye now has got Fluffy all up his jacksie. The last thing he wants is a Fluffy tickle on his rear end, because that could make him laugh into a hairpin.
It could. Jason been late on the brakes there, getting as close to Fluffy Planet as he can. This is where Demon R will be open. Fluffy is able to defend on Jason as well as he did on himself. I've got to say though, James, I mean, we've had quite a few races where the pack has not been a separate pack in this championship, and this is appearing to be another one.
Yeah, indeed. You can see on the minimap there the guys that have pitted are closing in on the back straight. But yeah, as you say, the leading pack is pretty much nose to tail there. Jason up the inside of Fluffy there, taking no prisoners. And that's nice little move there. Yeah, nice overtake, both of them giving each other just enough room, and at the end of the day that's all you need, isn't it, James? Just enough room, and make it difficult for someone, yeah, but just enough room is fine. Indeed, so here we go, SGP, can he try and pull a little bit of a gap out? He's got a decent, I think he's got about a second in his pocket to Demon R, but I think a few laps ago that were a bit bigger with that gap, and Demon R running wide. Jason, he'll be smiling, thinking, brilliant, bring it on. You're going to be running off the circuit, that's making it easier for me.
Yeah, definitely. I'm wondering if Demon R's tyres are slightly on the way out. Jason all over the back of him now, still on fairly fresh tyres and trying to get past as early as possible.
Lovely move there, trying it round the outside, and that just meant that Demon R could not carry enough speed there up towards the hairpin. Brilliant move there from Jason, I've got to say. Yeah, Mandalorian going around the same hairpin around the outside of SRI makes it work, and Mandalorian is side by side with Steve F1 right behind Tyler. I don't think Tyler's on new tyres, but Mandalorian and Steve F1 definitely are. Yeah, Tyler, I think he's got Mandalorian side by side now. Oh, Mandalorian, very risky trying it around the outside. And yeah, he's managed to make the move, but here comes Steve F1 as well. Yeah, Steve F1 having a look up the inside, doing it nicely, making sure he gets no understeer whatsoever, giving Tyler plenty of opportunity to see that he's there and that he's coming through. So that's Steve F1 gains the place, and SRI trying to benefit there as well, but he is coming under pressure from Groover. Okay, so Steve F1, how far behind Jason is he? Oh, it's got to be a good 7-8 seconds. Yeah, indeed. So there's a massive gap. Jason's Mandalorian. SGP and Demon R have pitted, by the way. Right, okay, so yeah, massive gap out at the front between Jason and Mandalorian. I say massive, it's probably about 5 seconds. So yeah, Jason 5 seconds about Mandalorian. Then we've got Steve F1 pretty much down to about 5th place there, Groover. And then we've got SRI in the background, he's been hunted down by the Silver Shadow. Then we've got the fresh tyres with SGP in 8th place with Demon R closely behind. Yeah, Groover having a look on Tyler here. Oh, taking so much more speed through the corner. I'm wondering if Tyler's tyres are gone. Yeah, indeed, it's suspect there. But here we go, Steve F1, Mandalorian on the same freshness of tyre. And I don't think Mandalorian being in front of Steve F1 was in the plan. No, definitely not. Also, is Mandalorian going to have to stop again? History would sort of tell me that yes, maybe SGP on the back of Demon R again, but sorry, SRI, but Demon R trying to go all the way around the outside, and he does it around the outside of SRI, who's still fighting back, and SGP is still up the inside. So yeah. Oh, he's done it! SGP, lovely move there. I think SRI were caught in a really bad situation there, where he was getting attacked from both sides, and yeah, didn't really know where to put himself. Yeah, and he's gone for the pit lane, so that makes it even more difficult. Steve F1 still behind Mandalorian. I mean, in a way, we saw Demon R and SGP work together to catch up Steve F1 at Brands Hatch, and I'm wondering whether Steve may benefit here from doing the same thing, kind of letting Mandalorian know, look, I'm not going to attack you, just go through the corners as fast as you can. Yeah, so Mandalorian's not having to go defensive, he can just hold the race in line, and I think that's what he's doing really. He's not defending the inside of especially the hairpin there, deep braking zone. Yeah, I mean Steve F1 definitely made it clear at that hairpin that he's not looking to attack, as Demon R is looking to attack SGP on the exit of the corner, but he's got the slipstream from Tyler, so I don't think that'll, I was going to say I don't think that'll be a move done, but actually he's getting ahead. Yeah, indeed. It's surprising that. Must be definitely on the power before SGP to make that move. Ooh, SGP taking a lot of curb there, trying to come back around the outside, but it's going to be difficult to do it. No, he's going for a switchback. Yeah, lovely move there from SGP. and it's made the move as well on Tyler, who's really run out of grip.
But Demon R's going for the switch back on the exit of the final corner. Where has Tyler gone? I think Tyler's lost out. I think Tyler, he's in the pits.
He's in the pit. Yeah, so yeah, SGP once again, really lovely move there to make that position. But yeah, here we go, we've got Steve F1 still just hugging the back of Mandalorian. But I'm sure if Mandalorian does make a mistake, he won't hesitate to make it through.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If the opportunity's there, he's going to go for it. But at the moment, he'll be saving tyres while also potentially catching Jason. So, I mean, with the way the the way the boost works, Steve F1 will be getting more boost in third place than Mandalorian in second place. So he can take it that little bit easier on his tyres as SGP is trying to look at attacking Groover into the hairpin. Up the inside he goes. We've seen quite a few overtakes done on this corner, and Demon R's trying to overtake the both of them again. He's up alongside SGP. It's a repeat of the previous lap, James.
Yeah, I think SGP tried the outside line, it didn't quite work, and Demon R just hooked the inside, but unfortunately the slipstream this time has worked in SGP's favour.
It has. Now Groover doing well at the moment as SGP's up the inside. That's a lovely attempt at an overtake. Groover gives him the room, runs wide. He's going to have to be careful here because he may get caught, hung out to dry. I think Demon R's just tagged the back of SGP. That's going to close this lot right up.
Yeah, indeed. So just from one person braking earlier, a bit of a concertina effect. I think Fluffy had to slam on the brakes there and he's lost out to Davey Hart.
That he has. Mandalorian has gone into the pit lane. That's freed up Steve F1 to try and catch Jason. SGP and Demon R still fighting. Groover doing well at the moment. I think he's got another pit stop to do though. So is Demon R going to do what we've seen Steve F1 doing, or what these two did at Brands Hatch, or is Demon R going to say, nah, sod that, I got to go see Dawn?
Right now, I don't know if Dawn's going to be in the picture because we've got Formula Gary, he's in 8th place, and right behind him he's got Mandalorian. So really, Mandalorian, if he wants to make a fight for this, he needs to get past them cars and get in this battle between SGP and Demon R, but that's the last thing that they want because they just want to try and pull away from this pack.
Yeah, and interestingly, in the hairpin on that occasion, as Formula Gary's trying to attack Fluffy Planet also on the back of Dave the Ark. Yeah, into that hairpin, Demon R was not looking to overtake, so that does suggest they're trying to work together. It's not necessarily work together, it's just they're trying not to lose any time by fighting each other as SRI and Mandalorian check out the strength of the wing mirrors.
Yeah, indeed. I think SRI was saying, I'm not having any of this, but unfortunately Mandalorian just does not know when he's beaten. But here we go, Demon R going for a bit of a switchback, so maybe they're not working together right now.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Demon R's realised that if he wants to try and catch Steve F1 or Jason, he's going to have to get a shift on, because Jason is a long way up the road. The only thing for Jason and Steve F1 to be mindful of is, are their tyres going to last? Because we saw how slow, well, not necessarily how slow, that's the wrong word, how much time Steve F1 lost on absolutely knackered tyres earlier on in the race.
Yeah, indeed. So Mandalorian's freed up in 6th place. Next guy up the road for him, I think, is Groover, as Tyler, Silver Shadow and SRI are just doing the usual exchanging
numbers.
work.
I thought you were just saying numbers. Let's see Silver Shadow then. He is trying to attack Tyler. Let's see up ahead though. Groover making the move, or trying to make the move, but Mandalorian's gone for the switchback, gets the better exit. That's a lovely move from Mandalorian. It does show that the switchback works beautifully in that corner.
Yeah, just very risky though with the guys behind. I think Mandalorian was very, very close to contact there.
Someone's wide
managed
there.
To make it. Oh yeah, Silver Shadow's on the grass.
Yeah, I think he was so wide then, I think he realised he was never making that right-hander. And to be fair, I mean, I don't like seeing people like cut corners, but seeing that situation there was a split second where he realised, I can't get round that corner, and he did the safe thing, which was straight line the corner, but he didn't gain anything from it.
Yeah, by doing it. Yeah. So yeah, it's better to see that people are more conscious of taking people out and rather sacrifice their own corner, as Silver Shadow sacrifices his car into the wall there. But yeah, here we go, Jason. He's just got a massive gap to Steve F1, probably about 4 seconds to Steve F1. There's probably about another 3 seconds back to Demon R.
Yeah, and we've still got, what, just under 4 minutes of this race to go, so not long for drivers to try and close up the gap. Mandalorian on the freshest of tyres, but sitting in 5th place at the moment. Tyler, he's now freed up in 6th place as SRI is trying to attack Groover. I think Groover's taken a tight entry. SRI looking for a bit of a switchback. Oh, a little bit too early on the power, got a little sideways, but he's still got a decent run out the corner.
Yeah, but could Groover get that slipstream off the car in front? I think it's just pulling away slightly from SRI, and there we go, back in front.
Yeah, he may run a little, yeah, he went a little deep though, carried a bit too much speed. Dave the Arm now having a look up the inside. Groover's making it tight for him. SRI closing in, and Fluffy Planet, yeah, SRI realised he had to go to the inside there because Fluffy Planet was catching up quickly. Dave the Harp though manages to get ahead of SRI. Ooh, but yeah, it's all frantic.
It is all frantic, but right now there looks to be not a lot of drop off for Jason, the race leader. So really, we could do with having Demon R a few seconds up the road right now.
Fluffy Planet, opportunistic as ever. That was a lovely sneaky move. SRI now trying to tuck into his slipstream. Groover's on, get out to dry, gets a wobble on, tags the side of SRI. Dave the Hard though all over the back of Tyler, taking a tight entry. May compromise the exit here.
Yeah, could he have a look? Tyler, we've seen him earlier on, he was leading the race for a decent amount of laps, but I don't know, I think it's inevitable that Davey Hart's going to try and get through past him, but I think if he's smart here, probably, I don't think it's going to be, I think Tyler's got enough pace here today to probably try and keep 6th place or maybe 7th.
Yeah, well, interestingly, he just not tapped, but he dipped a wheel on the grass on the braking zone to the big hairpin and got him all out of shape, and he's been recovering since then, and he's getting very, very close in the background. Demon R, though, is he all over the back? Yeah, he's on the back of Steve F1. Have Steve F1's tyres started to go off?
I think they have, but there you can see the gap in front to Jason. And we've only got probably another 2 laps on the clock. So Demon R, if he wants this win, he's got to make the move right now. Cannot be hanging about. Just needs to get through, because if he hangs round through these long left-handed corners, he's just losing time.
Oh, there we go, realising, yeah, sneaks through. Steve F1 struggling on his tyres. Demon R doing pretty much exactly what you said there, James, realising that, yeah, he's got to get on with it, because Jason, although he's got a nice gap, he's still potentially catchable, given the length of time Jason has been on his tyres. And interestingly, the race that Jason won earlier in this championship, he was able to pull away early on and nobody saw him. So he's trying to do a similar thing here, but he's now on older tyres compared to the cars behind him. Oh, look at all this!
This is mental. Fluffy getting pushed out onto the gravel there. Don't know who that was, but yeah, Tyler, right now his tyres are falling backwards as Dave they are. He's got slightly fresher tyres, but he's still not been able to pull away from these guys.
Yeah, that was nearly 3 wide through those corners. Groover sideways. I think he may have taken Fluffy with him there for a moment. Oh, who's that? Silver Shadow.
Silver Shadow, yeah. I think these guys, the grip's just not there, and they're trying to do what they've done earlier with fresh grip, and it's just the car's saying, no chance, you muppet.
Yeah, exactly. So having a look at Jason then, he's just looking nice and calm and smooth. Demon R pulling away a little bit from Steve F1. How far back is SGP? Not that far, but Mandalorian is catching the back of SGP, and we are now on to the final lap of the race. So Jason has only got a handful more corners to do. All 3 wide. SRI trying to sneak through. Can he get it slowed down here though? Tyler trying to have a look back up the inside of him, but I think his tyres are gone. This is, it's always mental in DGT.
It is, but Dave the Ark just managed to hold on to 6th place. He's not really interested in defending to the guys in front, and I think that's the way to go, really. Oh, SRI, I think he's SRI's pushing the limits of what that car's capable of doing on them tyres.
I tell you what, he's managed to hold on to the position. He's done well there. Here we go then. Jason coming into the last 3 corners, and you know what? He looks like he's cruising here. He's just taking it easy, making sure he makes no mistakes, because the last thing you want to do is spin it on the last corner. There we are. Demon R was not too far away, but Jason is going to take his second victory in the DGT League and his second victory in the GR3EVO Cup. Demon R is going to come home in second place, with Steve F1 surviving for third, and then Mandalorian and SGP side by side pretty much over the line, but SGP is fourth, Mandalorian fifth, and then we got Dave the Harp leading a train of crazy guys, and it is sixth for him. My goodness.
Ray just held off Tyler there, just managed to get 8th place. And Silver Shadow, I think he's run out of petrol, it looks like, or he's letting Fluffy through.
Yeah, I think he's waiting for Fluffy. I'm not sure what happened there, but yeah, good respect shown from Silver Shadow there. But oh my days, once again in the DGT League, an absolutely bonkers race with plenty of action.
Yeah, that was pretty bonkers. But right now, in terms of the championship fight, that's just, even though Jason's won, Demon R just pulling away in that championship. I don't think that, once again, I think that the challengers have fallen away. I think Demon R's probably going to be on for this. I think we only got 2 races remaining now.
Yep, 2 races to go, a maximum 40 points available if someone wins both races.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think Demon R's really going to have 2 scruffy races, but I've got to say, no offence to the guy, I'm talking about Demon R here, no offence, but that seemed like a scruffy race and he still came away with second place.
Yeah.
So even, he went off at turn 1, which was rare to see, and still recovered to second place. So I think this championship's probably in his pocket right now. Demon R.
I was going to say the downside. I mean, for Demon R, if anyone else is going to win the race, for him at the moment, having Jason win the races is the perfect scenario, because it's Mandalorian, Steve F1 and SGP that he'll be focusing on, and if he finishes ahead of them, he'll be happy.
Oh yeah, indeed. So Steve F1 tried it, and his tyres died, but Jason just them tyres just lasted. But yeah, I think SGP, he's finished in front of Mandalorian, so really I think SGP's looking. I mean, he's really the only. We say that Mandalorian and Steve F1 are in that fight, but I personally think that SGP's the only guy right now who could really mount a challenge. But is he available for the next race? Because if he isn't, then that's the championship over, I'd say.
He's not. He's on holiday. He's not going to be there for race 8. So that is a massive opportunity for the likes of Steve F1 and Mandalorian. And in a way, if those two could come, one of those two could come away with the win, with the other one right behind them, Jason right behind them, and a few cars between Jason and Demon R, it could really turn the championship around. Because we'll have a look at the points in a moment, but I think it's about 20-ish points from Demon R to SGP, but from SGP down, it's very, very close. So I think one disaster for Demon R, and then the pressure's on.
Yeah, I think before Mandalorian decided to swan off on holiday, it was looking really close to the championship. But I think, unfortunately, if you take a race out, that 20-point gap is nigh on impossible to claw back.
Yeah. Especially if you've got a driver that's finishing first or second or third in every race. I mean, to be fair though, Jason takes his second win, and both of the wins. Once he's done a bit of a Vettel really. Once he's got to the front, he's gone.
He's gone. I think he's definitely showed really, really good pace, and some of the some of the driving in the earlier races has been a bit questionable, but the 2 races he's won, from the look of it, I don't know if we've heard from the stewards or all, but it looked to me on that screen faultless.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see anything. There may have been some rumblings throughout. I do not know, but I mean, it's one of those things that I think he's got to grips with this car, and I think Steve F1 has to a degree as well. And the reason I say that is Jason is able at the moment to be quick and look after his tyres. Steve F1 is able to look after his tyres, but when he tried to push it that little more to keep up with Jason, he couldn't look after his tyres. But they've both definitely got to grips with the car a lot more. SGP's doing everything he can, but he did say to me earlier in the season, knowing that he was going to be missing a race through a holiday, he knows that the title would be extremely difficult to win, so he's pretty much just been approaching these races to enjoy the races, which I can't fault him for, and he's been finishing in the top 4 or 5 every single race pretty much. Mandalorian had a great start to the season, then a difficult period, but he's still there, headed up at the top 5, looking to try and fight the wins. But it's interesting that strategies that Mandalorian has done in this race has been done at earlier races and worked out to be extremely successful. But in the last 2 or 3 races, early pit stops just haven't worked.
I think that race there, when he did his early pit stop after 2 laps, I bet a lot of drivers would have been second guessing themselves, going, what? Why is he doing that? But then he had that. He were up behind Jason, and then he slid off the track and hit the wall.
Yeah.
I think right there, that were the win out the window. Whereas I reckon if he'd have kept on the track and managed to get past Jason, I reckon the possibilities, it might have gone completely wrong, but it did go completely wrong at that point. I think them crucial seconds that he lost there, a bit like Demon R, he lost about 5 seconds at turn 1, he probably lost by about 4 seconds, so if he'd have not made that mistake, he probably could have won. A bit like that situation
same
where
as SGP, he was in the hunt and then had an incident, and without that incident it would have been much closer. I mean, let's see.
I think that's it. I think if you're lucky enough not to have an incident, you could be on for the win.
You've got a chance. I mean, it's kind of like the Monaco syndrome, isn't it? Usually the person that wins at racing at Monaco is the person that makes the least amount of mistakes, not the person that's fastest. Indeed. I mean, Dave the Harp managed to finish in 6th, another, I wouldn't say difficult or frantic race for him, but another race surrounded by terriers.
I think what it is I think you've got to put in the time to make sure you've got an extra second in your pocket, just through repeating the lap just doing the laps, even when you think to yourself, oh, I know that track, just sit down and do an extra 30 laps if you've got the time. And that going in your subconscious, when you've got that in your pocket, you can then start to pull away from the pack. I think the problem is when people just do a late one move. Lap, or people just go in trying to get the lap times down rather than focusing on how many laps can I get successfully out of these tyres before the laps times start dropping. I think that's one of the things the drivers probably need to focus on a bit more, because right now the guys in that pack, they're quick over a few laps, but then they fall into I'm in the pack now.
Well, I know.
Whereas the guys that seem to pull away, the guys that seem to know how long to take a set of tyres before they'll die.
I mean,
I think Steve F1's the exception. Steve F1 is definitely an exception. He can push the tyres, and even when you're thinking, well, he's got to pit now, he'll keep going and he'll still not have a dramatic drop off.
I mean, when you look at it, I mean, Dave the Harp, he's been working on using different camera views to improve his tyre wear, which has been working for him. But one of the other things, I mean, something we noticed when he had a bit of the pack behind him, is if you go a metre off the racing line just to try and cover someone having a look, that's a split second of time you're losing out on. And when you add them all together around a lap, all of a sudden you can't pull away. Whereas if you, through as many corners as you can, go, right, I'm going to go through here in the quickest way possible that doesn't kill my tyres, that's when you can then start to open up the gap a little bit. And once you've opened up a bit of a gap, those behind you, they can fight all they like. And then you've got the likes of like Formula Gary, Fluffy Planet, who they have been working on consistency over a period of time, because it's one of those things like with Steve F1, yes, he might be able to do 20 minutes on a set of tyres, but what he'll do is he'll do that 20 minutes and then he'll have a look at the lap times, and let's just say, for example, he might be doing 1 minute 22 lap times, but then after 16 minutes those lap times go down to 1 minute 26s. Well, what he'll then probably do is go, right, well, okay, instead of doing 20 minutes, let's see if I can do 14 minutes. That's effectively a 2-stop race. But instead of doing 122s, I'll do 121 and a halves. And then he'll see if he can do 121 and a halves until 14 minutes has passed with no specific drop off. So you kind of compromise your lap times to go longer, and then if you really think, well, that might be too long, you bring your stint length down, but then you can improve on your lap times a little bit, and it's finding that balance. And Jason has definitely found that balance for sure.
Oh, definitely. I think that's it. I think the guys that you've seen up at the front that have the possibility of a win are the guys that have worked out it's better to focus on what you can get out of your tyres in a stint, rather than, oh, I've run out of grip, I'm going to have to pit. Because if you start doing that, then you throw it away. I think Mandalorian suffered with that. Especially, he had better tyres than Jason and he pitted. And he were in second place. So really, he had the potential to probably either hold on to that second place, or Demon R might have passed him and he might have got thirds, or he might have even had the pace to close in on Jason, but Jason was so rapid at the end there. I think it would have been a tall order, but yeah, I think even Mandalorian probably were kicking himself after that race, thinking, you know what, I might have been better staying out there.
I mean, that's the thing, and that comes with experience. A couple of bits of sort of info I want to just quickly talk about. One of them is, I mentioned during the commentary there about Gary using another different livery. Well, just to let everybody know, a bit of information for the next championship in the VW Supersport. All the drivers have been made aware that the admins have requested a slight change to the livery approach, and one of those is to use the same livery throughout the course of the championship. And it's not just the admins being strict, it's because what they want to try and do is to be able to take the drivers' names off the broadcast from above the cars. So if the liveries stay the same, it gets easier for the commentators and viewers to spot who's who, but also the drivers are going to have their PSN names actually on the cars, so as also to see if they're readable, to sort of go with that approach of being able to take the drivers' names away from hovering above the cars. So it'll be interesting to see what the cars are going to look like in the next championship.
Yeah, indeed. But I think, like I said, as long as it's quite easy to spot, even from a mile away, if you keep that same livery every single race, if you go around changing the colours every race like Mandalorian seems to want to do, it becomes quite difficult then to actually say, oh, let's take that floating name above the car away. However, I think it will look better as a presentation without them floating names. And if you can see quite clearly the driver's name on the side of the car and the back of the car on the roof sticker, I think it'll be great, that.
and hopefully, even if they decided to drive something like the Super Formula or an LMP1 or even the Red Bull Juniors again, the drivers' names will be able to be put on those cars as well in a similar way. But it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Also, something new that has been put onto the GT Sport recently. On the latest update, and I want to mention it on this broadcast because when SGP was on the commentary with me, we discussed about how the drivers were given the opportunity to suggest any ideas or stuff like that. Well, one of the new things that GT Sport has brought in is the opportunity to now have a proper qualifying session, right? So you can have a practice session, a qualifying session, and then a laps amount race, or a practice session, a qualifying session, and an endurance race, which is what DGT League do. So if DGT decide to bring qualifying back in, which there's a good chance that they will, obviously this has been a test with the sort of no qualifying format, but one thing that I really like, and I don't think anybody else will have noticed this yet in the DGT League, so I'm going to mention it to you, James, and we'll see what your thoughts are on this potential idea. Yeah. So let's say, for example, in the next championship of the VW Supersport, DGT League decide, right, we're going to have 15-minute qualifying sessions again. Let's just say, for example, they go, you know what, we've had decent tyre wear on all of the cars, but for the next championship, we're going to spice things up a little bit by making the tyres last much better, but still probably have to pit. So the tyres might last 30 minutes, for example.
Yeah.
But hang on. But for the qualifying session, you can actually set a different tyre wear level. So for qualifying, you could go, right, well, let's whack the tyre wear up, so you're only going to get 1-2 laps on 2 hot laps, and then you're going to need a new set of tyres. Now that could be interesting.
It could be interesting, but I do think that most people during qualifying do that anyway. I think that they do one flying lap and then think, well, I might as well just reset and go again.
Some do, but you see, if the tyre wear was set to a much lower level for a race, if the qualifying session was the same, then you could literally just pound around, because the lap times you'll get in 15 minutes. If the tyres last 30,
you'll get more laps in.
Exactly.
So I understand what you're saying. You want to put more pressure on people to get that quali lap in, because rather than being able to pound round and do, let's say it's a minute a lap, you get to do 14 timed laps. Yeah. You're only going to get 7. If you're lucky.
Yeah, and the reason for that is, if the tyres can last 30 minutes in a race, then they should comfortably do 15 minutes flat out. And that to me would be, I wouldn't say pointless, but it'd be, well, it sounds a bit daft really, but it'd be too busy on the track for people to get laps in. But also, having that tyre wear, like you said, it adds that little extra bit of pressure. You make a mistake, oh no, you can't just carry on. But
I do think as well, having tyres that they might get you to end at race, but you'd be better off pitting. I think that opens up opportunities where it's like the intenseness ramps up. Because right now, if it all gets a bit too stressful, you can come out of the pits, and you can have a little bit of a break during the race, literally for about 20 seconds, where you can just diffuse yourself, relax, let's go again, let's have another stab at it. Whereas at the moment, you can keep doing that. If you have tyres where you can push like mad for 30 minutes solid, you're going to end up with people that their brains are going to be on fire by the time they pit.
They're going to be sweating.
They're going to be sweating like
Dave the Arp is going to have to get himself a permanently lit lighter.
Yeah.
There'll be no pit stop fag.
He might have to have like a stand, like a little stand with a cigarette where he can just turn his head and suck on it.
Yeah.
And then away he goes.
Oh.
I do mean a cigarette.
Yeah, I sort of drifted past that because I thought you might say something. Okay, last thing I want to mention before we have a look at the confirmed race result and championship standings is there's something I want to mention about the next race, and hopefully the drivers have listened in up to this point. And that is that I've done a few laps around the next track, Blue Moon Infield A, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And it's not a warning that I want to put out. It's more sort of something that I'd like the drivers to bear in mind. And to be honest, I'm actually thinking about doing some kind of example video because there's a feature of the next track which could result in a lot of accidents happening and the potential for arguments. And basically what it is, there's a couple of corners on the next track where it's very clear that there's a couple of different lines people can and will take into corners. Now both are well, I'd say neither are necessarily wrong, but if you've got one driver entering a corner on one line and one driver entering a corner on the other line, there becomes a pinch point.
Yeah.
And it'd be very easy for either driver to go, oh, you turned in on me, or you chucked it up the inside. And rather than have that situation, I would say do one line or the other. I would say I'd just like the drivers to be a little bit aware that whichever line they take through some of these corners, they could easily end up with a car alongside them.
Yeah, as well, if I'm thinking about the corner that you're thinking about, I think the sequence of corners, I think it's like, if we just say that you keep turning your steering wheel, I'd probably say, I think it's about like turn 3, 4, 5. They're all a sequence of corners where if you're out of position on one, you're out of position on all of them corners. Mm-hmm. So not trying to get the drivers to go, oh, you can only go through their single file, but just to be aware of how awkward it is to get through certain corners where you think, oh, well, you can easily get through there, but then you realise that even going through their single file is difficult.
Yeah.
So just to be aware, if you're going to go side by side through a corner, you need to give space and it will slow you down.
Yeah, well, I mean, both drivers do, or all drivers do. I mean, I'd say the big one is the first corner, and I was trying to think of any way that I could kind of explain it without showing anything. Well, I did come up with one, and we'll see if this helps you. I mean, not necessarily helps you. You weren't practicing with us last night, but for example, you think about NASCAR. Going round an oval in NASCAR, there's usually a low line, a middle line and a top line, or there's a low line and a high line. Both are more than capable of getting around the corner. But if the person on the low line drifts up to the high line mid-corner, they're going to hit the car on the high line. If the person on the high line ducks down to the low line, he's going to hit the car that's there. So it's very much like that. Both lines can get round the corner, but if you move from one to the other when there's a car there, it could easily end up in collisions.
Yeah. I think I think it's the first time probably we've gone to a circuit where the first turn, which is like a never-ending left-hander, is probably about 5 cars wide.
Yeah.
So you can have a hell of a lot of different lines in there.
Yeah.
But I think the drivers have got enough of a brain about, hopefully.
Oh, because you've cursed it now.
Yeah. Turn 1, lap 1, all cars out.
Yeah. SGP wins the championship and he's not even at the race. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to mention it to the drivers, but also to the viewers, because I mean, like you said, it's the first track that I can think of that we've been to where there is a corner where it is very clear there's a couple of different lines through the corner, and it is also very, very wide, and it's at the end of a long straight, and the slipstream is going to come into play big time. So make sure you come and join us for Destruction Derby next week at Blue Moon Infield A. So yeah, anyway, James, thank you very much for joining me on commentary once again.
No problem. It's good to be back.
Oh, it is. It's good to have you back. Right then, let's take a look at the confirmed race result and the championship standings. The result then for race 7 sees Jason take victory in the maximum 20 points. In second place is Demon R, third place Steve F1, fourth place was SGP, and in fifth place is Mandalorian. Dave Harp finished in sixth place, scoring 10 points. However, 3 of those points are going to be taken away from him because of a collision during the race, or well, the steward said there was plenty of room on the outside of the corner and there was contact 3 times, which is unnecessary and forced the other car off the track. So a minus 3 point penalty for Dave. Formula Gary finished in 7th place, SRI finished in 8th with Tyler 9th, Groover 10th, Fluffy Planet, as we saw crossing the line late on, finished in 11th place with Silver Shadow in 12th. Unfortunately, once again, Lewis didn't get to the end of the race, so still has 0 points. He could really do with trying to make sure he gets to the end, and bags some points. On to the championship standings then. After 7 races, Demon R leading the way on 124 points, with SGP in second place on 101, however unable to race at the next race. Steve F1 sitting in third place, only 4 points behind, and then another 4 points gap to Mandalorian, so everything to fight for Steve and Mandalorian. Jason currently sitting in 5th place on 75 points, with a bit of a gap to Fluffy Planet in 6th, and then it starts getting ever so close. Dave the Harp only 3 points behind Fluffy Planet, and then we've got Groover and Formula Gary both on 48 points. In 10th place is Silver Shadow on 39, and 5 behind him is Bunsel, and only 1 behind him is Rich Blues, and SRI now only 3 points behind Rich Blues. Tyler sitting on 18 points in 14th place, while Con Reese is still classified as 15th with 7 points, and Lewis 16th still without a score. Okay, round 8 will be from the Blue Moon in Field A. It'll be an interesting race, but can anybody take that title away from Demon R? They've only got 2 races to do it, so they're gonna have to get a move on. Anyway, I've been Dave doing the commentary alongside James today. If you want to get involved in a racing league on GT Sport, then check out Dynamic GT League on Facebook. Drop them a message and they'll give you all the info you need. Have a good one, folks, and we'll see you all again soon.